Joe Passarelli here. Can't believe it. 9 years ago today, Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat, was taken from us 9 years ago. That just blows my mind because, I want to sit here and put it down for everybody on YouTube. There's been a lot of tragedy in wrestling. I'm a fan of wrestling. I'm a fan of comedy. I'm a fan of football. There's a lot of tragedy intertwined in all three of those aspects. And certainly wrestling is no stranger to it. And from Owen Hart to, go down the list of Brian Pillman's tragic deaths, Mr. Perfect. None rocked me harder than Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero. Died, I believe it was 42 when he passed away. I remember I had just seen his last pay-per-view match with Dave Bautista at the local watering hole with my father, who really didn't watch a lot of wrestling with me, but he knew I was a big Guerrero fan, and he kind of was into Batista. I was into Batista as well, and it seemed like Eddie's big renewed title push, which rumors were Eddie was going to get the title back, and there was even a rumor of a Shawn Michaels versus Eddie Guerrero match that could have happened that year. Instead, we got Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon, which was entertaining, but couldn't have been the classic that Eddie Guerrero and HBK could have. Oh my God, you talk about one of the greatest dream matches never to really happen. But 9 years, obviously thoughts and prayers go out to Vicky and the children and all the Guerreros, Chavito, and all the Guerreros out there. Big fan of the Guerrero family, the legacy, even though there's kind of dissension there with Vicky Guerrero and Chavito and Chavo Sr. and a lot of the Guerreros. But I'm a big fan, and Becky included. I feel like WWE did a good job of providing income for Eddie's family for almost a decade after Eddie passed away, with providing Vicky Guerrero with a job with the WWE, which she ended up doing quite well with, all things considered. But, folks, 9 years ago, Eddie Guerrero, it blows my mind how it's 2005, how fast that goes. I remember sitting in front of the computer, my sister or someone had told me he'd passed. I just locked up. I froze. Like that one and Benoit were two of the worst for me. And obviously we know the circumstances behind Benoit now, but certainly Eddie, such a tragic loss, was put in the Hall of Fame that following WrestleMania. WWE has always done a great job of honoring Eddie Guerrero's family, and I always gave and will still give credit where credit's due, and the WWE continuing to doing that. But rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. Viva la Raza. Wanted to share a quick story real quick, too, before I cut out of this video. One of my favorite Eddie Guerrero memories. I actually met anyone who was on my Facebook or Instagram might have seen this picture. I met the APA lately at the Providence, Rhode Island Comic-Con, and got a chance to talk to JBL and Ron Simmons, and I told JBL the story when I saw Eddie Guerrero and JBL in the cage match on SmackDown in Providence, Rhode Island. It was that and the Daniel Bryan face turn in the cage in Providence, two of the best Providence crowds I've ever been a part of, two amazing moments. And Eddie was such a loved babyface, and even though JBL had just won the title, you never knew, would they have done a quick title change back. There was certainly, you weren't quite sure who was going to win, even though it was on a SmackDown. They had done some title changes on SmackDown when you factor injuries that had happened to Batista and Edge, although I think that was after Eddie's death. But either way, there was a precedent set that could have been made there. But, I took my sister to that event, and it's really one of my, I get to tell JBL this, one of my most cherished live events ever seen, to see Latino Heat doing his thing in that championship match against JBL in the cage. Kurt Angle actually ended up costing Eddie the win, coming out. Kurt was supposed to be in the wheelchair as the GM, but came out as the masked luchador and unveiled himself, after he screwed Eddie Guerrero, and JBL climbed out the cage with his flubby self. This gave rise to Vince McMahon chasing Kurt Angle with a cane, which was actually quite hilarious in its own right. But all jokes aside, Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace, man. 9 years. Viva la Raza. Folks, you want to tune into the Strike Zone tonight Immortal Mike Sorkin, the proprietor and owner of ImmortalSeats.com, the Immortal Network. This company is going to be the new StubHub. You better check it out. He's going to be talking about this. He's also a notable Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior impersonator. Has met a lot of cool people, been to a lot of cool events, UFC, WWE, Patriots, Saints, NFL, you name it. So we'll talk about it. Tune in to the Strike Zone tonight. Tune in to Wrestling Throwdown as well with Haley Imes. She's going to be talking TNA tonight. Tune into all of that. Stay tuned, but you want to make sure the Strike Zone, www.ricradio.org. You can call in at 401-456-8787, 401-456-9946, WXIN 90.7 FM in the Providence, Rhode Island area, and www.ricradio.org. Tune in. Joey Dice, Joe Passarelli, subscribe.